Now, what are the skills that are required of an ethical hacker? These are the following skills. So first and foremost, they should have good knowledge with operating systems such as Windows, Linux, Unix, and Mac. Now, when we say knowledge about operating systems, it's not only about how to use those operating systems, but how to troubleshoot those operating systems, how these operating systems work, how these operating systems need to be configured, how can they be secured. For example, securing an operating system is not only installing a firewall and an antivirus, but you need to configure permissions on an operating system of what users are allowed to do and what users are not allowed to do. For example, limiting the installation of applications. How are we going to do that? We need to go into the system center, the security center of Windows, and we need to configure security parameters over there of what are acceptable softwares and what are not. Same with Linux and Mac softwares, operating systems. So we need to know how we can secure these operating systems. Similarly, all of these would have desktop versions and server versions of operating systems. As an ethical hacker, we need to know the desktop and server versions both, how to configure them and how to provide services within the organization on these servers so that they can be consumed in a secure manner by all the employees. At the same time, they should also be knowledgeable of programming languages or scripting languages such as PHP, Python, Ruby, HTML for programming, if you will, because web servers come into the picture. So again, they should not be great developers where they can create huge applications, but they should be able to develop scripts, understand those scripts, analyze those scripts, and figure out what the output should be of those scripts to achieve the hacking goals that they have set out for. An ethical hacker should have a very good understanding about networking. No matter whether you're in application security, you're in network security, or you're in host-based security, since a computer will always be connected to a network, either a local area network like a LAN or the internet, we should know how networking works. We should know the 7 layers of the OSI model. We should know which protocols work on those 7 layers. We should identify the TCP/IP model and how a OSI model can be mapped to the TCP/IP model. We should understand how TCP and UDP work, how each and every protocol is crafted, how they are supposed to behave for us to analyze and understand any network-based attacks. We should be very good in security measures. So we should know where those vulnerabilities would lie, what are the latest exploits available in the market, and we should be able to identify them. We should be able to know the techniques and the tools of how to deal with security, how to analyze security, and then how to implement security to enhance it as well. Along with that, it is important that a security analyst or ethical hacker is aware of the local security laws and standards. Why is that? Because an organization cannot do any illegal activity. Whatever responses that they have, whatever security mechanisms, whatever security controls they will implement, they need to be adhering to the local law of the land. They should be legal in nature and should not cause undue harm to any of the employees or any of the third-party clients that they are dealing with. So the ethical hacker should be aware of what security laws are before they implement security controls, or even before they start testing for security controls. And all of these should be backed up by having a global certification or a globally valid certification related to networking, related to security, ethical hacking, the law of the land, anything and everything. Maybe even programming. It's good to have a certification in PHP, Perl, Python, Ruby, and so on and so forth. Why? Because most of the organizations, when they hire ethical hackers, look out for these certifications, especially globally valid certifications, so that they can be sure or they can be assured that the person that they are hiring has the required skill set.